everybody, welcome back to my channel for those who've been hanging with me some time, and welcome to those of you who are new. I'm Adele Levine, intuitive and medium. Okay, so I did a video last week on technology and spirituality. I had did a poll previously, and it was between that and 11:11, and it was such a close knit, close little race that I went with the technology and spirituality. So, but today it's 11:11 time, 11:11 time. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, sip of water. There you go. Yeah, so we're going to get into what does 11:11 mean. Oh my gosh, this is something that comes up so many times. Like seriously, I get people who ask me this question about the numbers and lining up, like 222, 333, 11:11. And I know during times and certain times in people's life, this number tends to come up almost crazily, like you're seeing it all the time. Every time you look at the clock, you wake up in the middle of the night, you look at your phone. Sometimes people even see them like, you know, on an address or on a receipt, and it starts to kind of have this pattern. And if you look this up, and by the way, if you Google and you look this up on Google, you will see so many options, so many theories, so many ideas of what does it really mean. And one of the things that tends to come up over and over is the 11:11. Now there's 222, there's 333, there's 444. It's any numbers that fall into sequence, not sequence like in your body, but things that line up. I have a very hard time with that word. Sorry about that. But the most popular one is 11:11, and a lot of the times people are usually being told that number is an angel number. A lot of, actually, Archangel Michael specifically, it tends to be associated with. And there's all kinds of meanings, and you can go into numerology if you want to look into numerology and see what they have to say about it, meaning numerologists. And I'm sure that I believe in numbers, and I believe in that idea for sure. But I see it from a little bit different and a little bit, and you know me, a little bit more simple. So here's my take on it. I have yes. If you asked, did you ask me? Did you ask me? I'm assuming you asked me. Adela, have you seen 11:11 or 222? Has this happened to you, this phenomenon? And yes, I have many, many times. And this is how I've learned it. When I've had this happen, it's usually something trying to get your attention. I don't say focus on who. I don't actually see this associated with Archangel Michael, and I do work with Archangel Michael. I see this more associated with the whole, you know, the collective whole. All of these type of beings, higher beings, and even the spirit world is trying to get your attention. Literally, like knock, knock, get your attention. And so it's a way of communicating. Numbers is one of those things that is universal language. It's a quick way. It makes sense. You don't have to try to figure out the code, meaning like if it's like a sign from the earth or a sign, you know what I mean by the earth. I'm trying to say, like if you see a bird or a butterfly and you get these types of signs, you're like, what do these signs mean? What does that possibly mean? It isn't one of those things. It's one of those things that's just kind of straightforward and get your attention, and it is fast and it lines up. So going into the idea of trying to read into what it all means isn't, to me, what is happening. It is the idea that things are lining up and there is a sequence. Yeah, things in sync. Okay, let's just call it that. Things are syncing up. And sometimes when those are syncing up, it's trying to warn you about something, like, hey, pay attention to this. You're about to make this decision. Maybe you want to reconsider it. It could be on the good tip, and it could be on, I don't say a negative tip, but a warning of like, maybe you don't want to do this. I have had this happen to me both ways, both end of the spectrums. Usually it is trying to get your attention on something that you need to be extra aware and alert. So if you're seeing 1111 or 222 and 333, don't get so caught up, or any number syncing up. And it can even, I've heard of people doing 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Don't get so caught up on the meanings and looking up the meanings, rather than look at it like an SOS or a sonar or a text going out saying, hey, we are trying to grab your attention. You need to pay attention at this time. And sometimes the reason why it happens for some time is because the event or the thing they're trying to grab your attention to be aware of is coming up. You know what I mean? Isn't something that's happened yet. And it may be a very significant crossroad and something that is going to have an effect on your life. I've had this happen when something was trying to wake me up to not really wanting to see something for how it is, you know, where you're kind of like maybe you're like in a job, or you're in a relationship, or you're pursuing something, and that realm knows, hey, this isn't something you really want. This isn't something you're really seeing for what it really is. Or maybe a person is around you that you need to pay attention to. It is a wake up call. That's what it is. It is telling you to wake up and literally trying to call you through the numbers. And if you keep seeing them, then something's trying to grab your attention. And it isn't a doom or gloom. It could even be something positive, like something's coming up, an opportunity's coming up. Just be aware. Don't be so caught in the mundane. Be aware and look around you of what's happening, the world behind the world. So people get really, really into this. And I'm telling you, you can go into a deep dive into YouTube, online, anywhere, into this, and you'll find some really fascinating and interesting things. But I literally have found this because I can hear that realm and I can communicate with it. I have found that it's usually something telling me you're not paying attention. Something's coming up. Something is is around you. Things are shifting. There is things you might even be in denial about or don't want to really accept. And it's a quick way. So what do you do when you start to see that? That's the next question. Okay, another sip of water. Okay. What do you do when you go, okay, I get it, Adela. I've gotten the message loud and clear. Something's trying to grab your attention, my attention. What do I do now? Then once it starts to happen, then you might want to do a little bit, maybe little different exercises, like take a piece of paper and pen and say, okay, what are you trying to get my attention on? Maybe take a look at what's going on in your life. Are you about to make a big decision? Are you in a relationship you're not sure about? Have you been having a gnawing feeling inside of you, something that's been trying to, maybe tell you about a situation or something you're deciding? And you could take a pen and paper and say, okay, what is it that you're trying to tell me? And the first thing you feel, the first thing that kind of hits you, you can write it down. And then you say, okay, now can you expand on that? And the first thing you feel, not here, because here is where you logic things out and you'll tell yourself the answer you think you're supposed to say, but here, where you're feeling in your gut, here and here in your tummy and in your heart. That's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is say, okay, I got this, I got these signs. Instead of looking for, oh, there's 1111 again. This is what people do. They get very caught up in like, oh, I saw this, I saw 222, I saw 1111. Oh, okay, I got to go and look for it all the time. Because what happens is you'll start to wonder, like, am I just looking for it now, or is it really happening to me? So the difference between it really happening to you is you're asleep, you happen to wake up, you look at the clock, it's 11:11. I've done readings where I'm doing a reading and I say something to the person, the reading ends and the clock says 111, that type of thing, or 333. And it doesn't have to be 4 numbers, by the way. It's just things syncing up, the numbers lining up. And so usually for me, they'll say, okay, well, obviously that's something, maybe that person, I tell them, like, look, this is what my phone says as we ended this, to maybe help them confirm and maybe listen to what was being told to them. And so you can do that for yourself. So when you start to have these signs, because they are signs, and you have these wake up calls happening, then you want to look and see, and you know, kind of take a look, like I said, with the ask the questions. But then you can say, can you give me other type of signs? You know, is there some other way you can get this message? And it doesn't have to be a sign like a bird or a butterfly, but it could be even someone called you and says, oh, I want you to, like, you know, work on a project, and maybe you turned it down, and you're going, oh, you know what, maybe it was about that. So you want to kind of look for around you, and then you can ask for, hey, is there other things, right? Hold on, water again. That can be sent my way. That can help me confirm what it is I really feel inside is trying to get my attention. So after you understand this and you say, okay, I really feel that it's coming from or about this, and you're asking for those other confirmations, you may start to see these numbers not being around as much, or they may even complement what you are also getting. And so the moral of this story is, don't get caught up in the literal part. This is what people tend to do. They get caught up in the literal of the numbers. Oh, 111, 222. They get very literal about it, instead of what is it trying? What, you know, breadcrumbs is this trying to take you towards? All right. I hope that helped. I hope that explained it. The other stuff that is out there about it is really interesting and fun. I'm not telling you not to look at it, but this is how I found, because I've actually had this happen to me in different times of my life. And honestly, it hadn't happened a long time until this time we're in right now and what we're going through. I started to see them beforehand, but it did coincide with other visions and feelings I had. You see what I mean? So it did make me go, okay, I've been having this feeling and this vision, and these numbers lining up are just keeping me alert, keeping me on that wake-up call. Thank you guys so much. I just wanted to let you know, of course, I'm still offering the 50% off as we're still going through all of this on all my readings with the code PEACE, as in peace, PEACE. Should see it around here. And also, I'm also saying to you that I got a new class, because you guys did vote on the 2 subject matters of lifting the veil or telepathic communication with higher beings. I decided lifting the veil is the way to go first, because it was such a close call. I decided, okay, listen, let's go with lift the veil, because lifting the veil is something you got to understand. It's the idea of seeing the world behind the world, and then move into the other. So that is a new class. It's going to be coming out June 13th. You can get that on my website. And also, if you follow me on Instagram, I post all these things, and on my community page here. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys always remember what I always say. Follow yourself, follow no one. Listen to this inner voice, your inner compass that you're built with. And I'll see you guys soon.